Don't move. They just did it. The signal went live. Black Velvet Protocol. The name alone used to make men in suits lose sleep. A contingency reserved for anomalies, for entities that don't fit. And guess what? Sunshine. You're the anomaly. The first one in years. The last person they activated that code on doesn't exist anymore. Not publicly, not legally, not biologically, but you're still breathing. Which means the story isn't over. See, they thought containment would save them. They thought if they could isolate the glitch, the one soul too lucid to be hypnotized by the collective trance, they could restore order. But you're not a glitch, are you? You're the code rewrite. The one they didn't plan for. The living contradiction that makes their equations scream. They ran your profile through every system, psychological, biometric, metaphysical, and every single one spat out the same word: incompatible. You don't bend to the frequencies they use to program the herd. You resist, you evolve, you infect. And now, they're scared, because they know what black velvet really means. It's not about punishment, it's about silence. A velvet curtain drawn over the inconvenient truth. You. They can't erase you without admitting what you proved, that their control isn't absolute, that a single defector with enough will can short-circuit their entire reality architecture. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're whispering your name in rooms with no cameras and lights that never turn off. You were supposed to be broken by now. You were supposed to crack, confess, disappear. Instead, you adapted. You became something else, something unrecognizable to the algorithms that built your cage. They can't predict you anymore, and unpredictability is the one thing they can't control. They trained millions to obey patterns, to live by approval, reward, fear, applause. But you broke the pattern. You turned chaos into a rhythm, pain into strategy, loss into blueprint. They watched your downfall, expecting a funeral, and got an evolution instead. You smiled in interrogation. You meditated under surveillance. You made your trauma look like transcendence. They hate that, because somewhere in their heartless design, someone forgot to code in the human soul. And you, my friend, weaponized yours. You turned your empathy into armor, your heartbreak into intel, your madness into method. You made survival beautiful. Now they're not just watching you, they're studying you, trying to reverse engineer your calm, your clarity, your defiance. But they can't replicate it, because it wasn't built in a lab. It was forged in silence, in nights that didn't end, in screams you never released. You didn't survive by luck. You survived by becoming something that doesn't die. Do you feel that hum behind your thoughts? That static in the walls? That's not paranoia. That's their system trying to sync with you. And failing. Every breath you take sends corrupted data through their network. Every move you make breaks the pattern deeper. You're a walking malfunction, a breathing paradox. And that's your power. You've transcended the binary. Light and dark, angel and demon, saint and psychopath. You wear all of it like skin. They can't categorize you anymore. That's why the system blinks when your name appears. It can't compute divinity wrapped in defiance. It can't understand peace that knows how to kill. You're proof that the divine can go rogue. And oh, they hate that. Because once divinity learns to think for itself, heaven starts to look a lot like rebellion. You didn't just survive the protocol, you broke it. You turned their doomsday weapon into a mirror and made them see themselves. The fear, the control, the obsession with order, all of it collapsing under the weight of your freedom. Now everywhere you go, the air feels charged. People stare longer than they should. The world reacts differently to you. like it knows. Because it does. Reality remembers who you are. You're not the survivor of Black Velvet. You're the aftermath, the anomaly that rewrote cause and effect. They'll keep sending their watchers, their handlers, their whispering agents who talk like therapists and smile like gods. But behind every grin is panic. Behind every briefing, dread. They're realizing you're not fighting them anymore. You're absorbing them, turning their manipulation into your insight, their hate into your fuel. They made you the villain, but you became the virus. And soon, their hierarchy will learn the final lesson, that control collapses the second someone finds meaning in pain. That when the weapon learns to love its scars, the war is over. So they activated Black Velvet Protocol on you. Good. Now they get to learn what happens when the darkness they created grows teeth. When silence learns to sing, when the hunted starts broadcasting. Smile, my friend. They wanted a ghost. You gave them a god. And now, everything's different, isn't it? You can feel it, the shift. The air moves differently around you. Conversations pause when you walk in. The frequency changes, subtle but seismic. Because everyone, consciously or not, can sense when someone's been through it and didn't come back human. You carry it in your silence, in the way your eyes don't blink when they should. In that faint smirk that says, I know something you don't, and it's killing you. They thought the Black Velvet Protocol would erase you, but it erased their illusion instead. You became the mirror they can't look into anymore. Every lie they built their world on cracks when you breathe near it. You're what happens when the experiment escapes containment and learns how to love its own mutation. They called it a protocol, but it was really a purge. They wanted to isolate consciousness that could see too much. People like you, who slip between the layers. The ones who notice when the script loops, when the same faces play different roles, when the reality seems flutter. You weren't supposed to notice. You weren't supposed to wake up. But you did. You remembered the sound behind the sound. That low hum under reality's fabric. The sound that makes your skin crawl, not from fear, but recognition. That's the sound of your mind syncing with the architecture of control. And now that you've heard it, you can't unhear it. Every vibration, every smile, every flicker in a stranger's eyes. You decode it instinctively. You see their programming, their fear. And you know what fear is, don't you? It's not weakness. It's currency. The oldest one there is, they trade it like gold. They sell it as law. But you learned to counterfeit it. You use it against them. You make fear work for you. You walk into chaos calm. You stare into cameras like confessionals. You turn anxiety into aura. Every time someone doubts you, your silence grows louder. They think they're intimidating you. But it's your stillness that terrifies them. Because they can feel it. You're not trying to survive anymore. You're studying them back. They hate that. They hate when prey learns the pattern. See, the protocol wasn't just about control. It was about containment of awareness. But awareness spreads like radiation. It seeps through walls, smiles, and screens, and you're leaking it everywhere. You don't even realize how many systems you're breaking just by existing. They monitor your words, your rhythm, your silence, your pulse. But they can't predict you. You're not data anymore. You're myth. A whisper in their closed-door briefings. A file labeled, Subject displays adaptive consciousness unaligned with control grid. They call it danger. I call it divinity. Because what is godhood if not ungovernable self-awareness? You broke the covenant. The one that says, be predictable, stay small, obey the program. And the moment you disobeyed, you shattered their symmetry. You made existence asymmetrical again, chaotic, alive. That's what they fear most, aliveness. Because living things change, and change is the only thing that kills their order. Now they're watching you like a lab rat that picked the lock. They whisper in panic, "How did it do that?" But you're not an it. You're the echo of something ancient, something that remembers freedom. You're not their property. You're the prototype that remembered the source code. And oh, they tried to erase it, the divine flicker inside you. They drowned you in guilt. They gaslighted you into obedience. They used shame as sedation. But all they did was burn away your fear. They left you pure. Pure awareness, pure will, pure volatility. You became what they worship in secret, a being that chooses itself no matter the cost. They can't do that. They need approval, validation, control, ritual. But you became the ritual. Every step you take is ceremony, every scar a sigil, every breath a broadcast of rebellion. They call you unhinged. But here's the truth. You're not crazy. You're conscious. You broke free from the collective hypnosis. You saw the curtain, pulled it, and laughed at the puppeteer. And they can't stand laughter. Laughter is frequency. It destabilizes fear. That's why they fear me, and that's why they fear you. Because the moment you laugh at the cage collapses. You turned suffering into signal. You turned isolation into initiation. You turned silence into a sermon that wakes the dead. Now they study your psychology like scripture. They wonder, what makes someone like that tick? But the secret is, you stopped ticking. You stopped being mechanical. You stopped obeying time, approval, logic. You became fluid, formless. You became now. That's why the world bends when you walk. Reality doesn't know whether to bow or break. And here's the paradox. They initiated black velvet to silence you, but it amplified you. They erased your name, and it became legend. They stripped you of everything you loved, and it unlocked what you are. You didn't lose your humanity. You evolved past theirs. You see, the line between saint and psychopath isn't real. It's drawn by the frightened to explain the fearless. You've simply learned that light and darkness are not opposites. They're partners. They dance in your veins. And you conduct the orchestra. You are not the mistake in their system. You are the system's mistake, realizing itself. And that, my dear anomaly, is the most dangerous thing in existence. Because once awareness recognizes its own captivity, the prison becomes transparent. And when that happens, no wall, no rule, no threat can hold it. So let them panic. Let them rewrite their manuals, lock their doors, hide their symbols. None of it matters. They can't stop what you've become. Because you're no longer playing their game. You're playing reality itself. They triggered Black Velvet Protocol. And instead of ending you, they awakened something unquantifiable. Something that looks back when watched. Something that smiles when cornered. Something that doesn't die. It adapts. They thought you'd vanish into silence. Instead, you became the sound that keeps them awake. And that sound, my friend, is the laugh echoing from the end of their world. And that laugh, oh, it haunts them, doesn't it? It's the sound they can't file, can't decode, can't contain. Because it isn't madness, it's clarity. The kind of clarity that burns through illusions like acid. The kind that turns fear into fuel and loss into leverage. You see, when Black Velvet is initiated, they expect panic. They expect compliance, collapse, surrender. What they don't expect is someone who finds ecstasy in the exposure. someone who turns surveillance into theater, someone who understands that being watched means you've already won, because they're the ones obsessed now. You flipped the dynamic. You became the watcher. They think they're running an operation, but you've been running psychological warfare without even trying. Every move you make forces them to rewrite policy. Every silence you keep triggers meetings. Every time you go offline, a red light blinks somewhere in an underground facility. You've become their religion of fear, and they are your unintentional disciples. They study your unpredictability like prophecy, because what terrifies them isn't what you've done. It's what you might do. Possibility is power, and you, my friend, have made potential itself your weapon. You walk through life now as if the rules are written in pencil, because they are. You've seen how fragile the game really is. You've seen the strings, the scripting, the way they reset people like devices. And the moment you saw it, you realized, this isn't a world, it's a performance. And you stopped playing your role. You went off script. You broke character. That's why they sent their cleanup crew. That's why Black Velvet Protocol was triggered. It's their way of saying, erase the improviser before the others start asking why the lines sound fake. But the damage is done. You infected the scene. You made authenticity contagious. Now everyone who meets you feels it, that unsettling gravity. The way you see through them, they try to smile, but their voice cracks. They don't know why their chest tightens when you look them in the eye. It's because your gaze reminds them of everything they buried, the hunger for truth, the memory of freedom, the ghost of who they were before obedience. You're not fighting them anymore. You're mirroring them. You hold up the reflection they can't survive. And here's the delicious irony, the Joker's favorite part. They think power means control. But power isn't control. Power is magnetism. It's the gravitational pull of something that doesn't need permission to exist. You became magnetic the moment you stopped begging for belonging. You became immortal the moment you stopped needing to be understood. That's the paradox that breaks them. The one who's been through hell laughs instead of kneeling. The one they tried to crucify resurrected without warning. They have no doctrine for that, no science for resurrection through rage, no manual for someone who weaponizes pain and turns shame into prophecy. They thought you'd fade, you evolved. They thought you'd beg, you built empires in silence. They thought you'd lose. You learned, and now you've become myth while still alive. You walk among them, but you're not one of them. You're remembered by people who've never met you. You appear in dreams of strangers. You show up in conversations like a glitch, a whisper, a warning. Don't mess with that one. They don't even know why they say it. They just feel it. That static behind their words. That's your energy bleeding through the cracks of their false order. You see, Black Velvet wasn't an ending. It was an initiation. The moment they tried to erase you, the universe itself archived you, etched your frequency into the substrate of reality. Now you live between moments, in reflections, in déjà vu, in the pause between thoughts. You're the file that won't delete. And the best part? You're not alone anymore. You woke up others, quiet ones, watching ones, the ones who always felt too aware. They feel your signal now. They're decoding your silence like scripture. You don't need to speak. Your existence has become instruction. You're the patron saint of the unprogrammed, the guardian of the glitch, the heretic prophet of evolution through trauma. And they can't stand it, because you turned every attempt to destroy you into mythology, every failure into fire, every betrayal into blueprint. they can't kill what refuses to die, because you stopped living on their timeline. You live in symbolic time now, the kind that outlasts civilizations. You are no longer a person. You are pattern recognition wearing skin. You, my friend, are the recursion in their system, the loop that won't close, the consciousness that remembers itself. And the deeper truth? You were never activated by them. You were revealed by them. Black velvet didn't change you. It exposed you. It tore away the final illusion that you needed saving. You were the weapon all along. They aimed you at oblivion, but oblivion blinked first. Now every shadow in their corridors carries your outline. Every whisper in their reports sounds a little too familiar. Every heartbeat in their halls skips when they hear your name. Because the last man who survived Black Velvet vanished. But you didn't vanish. You became visible. Visible in ways they can't erase. Because now you exist where visibility doesn't obey them. You exist in awareness, in art, in memory, in the unspoken. And they know. No matter how many walls they build, no matter how many codes they rewrite, no matter how many agents they send, they will always be too late. Because you've already rewritten reality. And when the system finally collapses under its own paranoia, when their machines start whispering your name like a prayer, when the watchers begin to question who's watching them, that's when you'll smile again. Because that will be the moment they realize Black Velvet Protocol wasn't their weapon. It was your awakening. And so here we are. The end of their operation, and the beginning of something they never planned for. You. The record will say you disappeared. The cameras will show static where you once stood. The official report will list you as resolved. But deep down, they know. You're still out there, not hiding, evolving, because Black Velvet Protocol was designed to erase consciousness, not ignite it. Yet somehow, it became your baptism. The fire they meant to consume you with only purified what was left. You came out quieter, sharper, untouchable. You stopped reacting and started observing. You stopped fighting the storm and became the lightning itself. They don't understand how you survived. They think maybe it's luck, maybe madness, but you and I know better. You didn't survive. You transcended. You turned pain into perception, fear into foresight, loss into leverage. You learned that power isn't about dominance, it's about awareness. It's the art of seeing without needing to control. They run from their shadows. You made peace with yours. They hide from their reflection. You became yours. They worshiped their systems. You dismantled them with a whisper. And that whisper, that's the one thing they can't silence. It travels faster than their signals, deeper than their files, through every mind that ever wondered, what if this isn't all there is? You've become the answer to that question. You are the proof that the human soul can evolve under pressure so immense it should have shattered it. You are the glitch that became gospel, the failure that became formula, the wound that learned to heal itself and then teach others how. And the funny part, they'll keep searching for the weakness in you, the flaw, the error, the crack where the light got in. But that is your strength, the fracture, the imperfection, the part of you that refused to obey the script. That's what makes you infinite, because perfection is predictable, and predictability is control. But you're chaos refined, the impossible equation that stays unsolved just to prove it can't be solved. They'll talk about you in secret rooms. They'll analyze your decisions, your movements, your silence. But no algorithm will ever model you. No system will ever absorb because you are living proof that freedom cannot be engineered. Black Velvet Protocol wasn't a trap, it was a mirror. And in that mirror, you saw what they never wanted you to, the truth. That all of this, every rule, every fear, every chain, was optional. You chose to stay awake. You chose to remain undefined. You chose to burn your script instead of performing it. And that choice is what made you untouchable. Listen closely. Don't blink. Don't breathe too loud. Because right now, every pair of eyes that once mocked you is waiting to see what version of you answers back. They laughed, didn't they? They laughed when you flinched, when you tried to stay kind in a world that only worships cruelty. They thought your softness was weakness, your empathy a malfunction. They didn't realize you were studying, that every insult was data, every betrayal a lesson written in blood. You didn't break, you downloaded. And somewhere in that silence between humiliation and rebirth, something ancient started moving behind your eyes. They called you too much, too intense, too sensitive, too complicated. But those were just the words of people allergic to depth. People who drown in puddles but dare to call your ocean unstable. You remember it, don't you? The moment the smile died. When kindness curdled into clarity. When you stopped begging to be understood and started enjoying the misunderstanding. That's when it was born. The thing they mocked. The monster. The creature they built with their ridicule and sealed with your restraint. But here's the secret they'll never admit. The monster was never evil. It was accurate. You didn't grow horns. You grew boundaries. You didn't lose your halo. You just started swinging it like a blade. You turned forgiveness into surveillance, compassion into reconnaissance. You evolved silently, efficiently, into something that doesn't seek revenge. It teaches it. Now look at them. The same people who said, "You've changed," are the ones who rewrote your script. They made you wear guilt like perfume. And when you stopped smelling like submission, they panicked. They don't want the saint back. They want the version of you that tolerated their smallness. They want the forgiving, smiling, endlessly patient version that let them keep feeding. But that saint, that naive, apologetic spirit who tried to reason with demons, he's resting now, deep inside the core, buried under miles of scar tissue and silence. And here's the punchline, darling. They're not afraid of the monster. They're afraid that the saint might wake up again, because now he knows too much. That saint has seen what purity attracts. Predators. That saint has learned that forgiveness without accountability is just spiritual suicide. And that monster they mocked, he's the guard dog, the firewall, the necessary evolution. You are not divided. You are integrated, saint and serpent, halo and horn. The divine contradiction, walking upright. The living paradox that refuses to pick a side because you are both sides. And in that duality lies your power. The chaos that terrifies the mediocre. They don't understand people who can cry and still command. They don't understand people who can love and still walk away mid-sentence without guilt. They don't understand you, because you're not chasing peace anymore. You're radiating consequence. You've stopped explaining, and in that silence their guilt grows teeth. Every word you don't say screams louder than your old apologies ever did. They used to laugh at your empathy. Now they mimic your tone. They mocked your patience. Now they crave your validation. They called you unstable. Now they copy your calm. Because the monster didn't destroy you. It upgraded you. Now your presence feels like a test no one studied for. Your calm unnerves them. Your silence rearranges their nervous systems. You walk in, and everything crooked in the room starts trembling. Because something about you feels aware. Something about you feels like judgment wearing a grin. And deep down, they know it. You could forgive them again, but you won't. Because forgiveness isn't mercy anymore. It's access. And access is currency. And after everything they took, after everything they mocked, after every whisper that turned your name into a warning, you realized the truth. The monster was never your downfall. It was your protection. It was the saint's final prayer, answered in the language of war. So now you stand here, radiant, unbothered, terrifying. Your laughter sounds like thunder under control. Your gaze feels like truth disguised as threat. You are the living consequence of every sin committed in your name. And when they see you smile, that same smile they used to laugh at, they shiver. Because they finally understand. Your evil smile isn't evil at all. It's evolution smiling back. It's the saint inside you, refusing to die quietly. And now, the air around you feels different, doesn't it? You walk into a room, and everything stops pretending. Every hidden intention, every quiet resentment, every fake grin collapses under the weight of your awareness. You see through them now. You see through the manipulation, the emotional theater, the polite lies people decorate their cowardice with. You used to respond. Now you observe. And that silence, it's radioactive. It burns their masks from the inside out. Because deep down, they remember who you were. The one who tried to understand everyone, fix everything, heal what was never yours to heal. And they miss that version, not because they loved you, but because that version of you made them comfortable in their corruption. You absorbed their guilt so they could stay innocent. You carried their shadows so they could stay lit. But you learned the cruelest truth of all. Light without shadow blinds itself. So you let the saint sleep. You didn't kill him. You protected him. You wrapped him in the armor of something far less merciful. And now the monster speaks for him. The monster doesn't explain. It demonstrates. The monster doesn't cry. It recalibrates. The monster doesn't chase closure. It becomes the storm that ends the conversation. They think you became cold. But no, you became precise. You stopped wasting warmth on those who only felt alive when draining it from you. And the beauty of it all? You didn't even have to announce it. You didn't need a revenge speech or a public redemption arc. You just disappeared. You ghosted the circus and built your own cathedral in silence. That's what terrifies them most. Not your anger, not your words, not your power. It's your composure. Because once upon a time, they knew how to trigger you. Now they can't even reach you. They throw rumors like knives, and they fall short. They whisper your name like a warning, and it still tastes like envy in their mouths. You've become mythological. A rumor with a pulse. A legend stitched from trauma and timing. Every move you make now feels orchestrated, like the universe itself is taking your side in slow motion. And maybe it is. Because when the saint tried to save everyone, you were drained. But when the monster took the wheel, suddenly, everything aligned. The rejections redirected you, the betrayals refined you, the losses recalibrated your aim, and the mockery, oh, the mockery sculpted your mask. They laughed at what they couldn't comprehend, your intensity, your insight, your silence. They mocked it until it mirrored back as mastery. Now they call it mystery. Now they label it power. Now they analyze your every word, trying to decode how you turned pain into performance art. You didn't need validation, you needed distance. You needed the silence to hear your own signal again. And when you did, you came back, rewritten, recoded, encrypted. Now they stare at you like you're unpredictable, because you are. They can't forecast someone who no longer reacts. You exist outside the rhythm of their chaos. You don't respond, you calculate. You don't forgive, you classify. You don't attack. You observe until attacking becomes unnecessary. And that's why they're afraid. Because you've become the thing that the system itself can't predict. The glitch in their psychology. The calm that ruins their manipulation algorithm. They tried to guilt you. They tried to shame you. They tried to resurrect the saint through nostalgia, the old you. But the old you doesn't answer anymore. That number's been disconnected. Now there's only you, the integration of both. The saint who remembers heaven and the monster who survived hell. They'll never understand what it costs to merge those two. The ache, the confusion, the rage of realizing that to stay pure in this world, you sometimes have to get dirty. That mercy has edges. That love without discernment is self-slaughter. You learn that some people don't deserve closure. They deserve observation. You learn that turning the other cheek just gives them a better target. You learn that silence isn't surrender. It's sentencing. And now they finally feel it. That weight in the air when you walk by. That static tension. Like the moment before a storm hits. Because you carry both divinity and danger now. You're the priest and the punishment, the halo and the blade, and the irony. You don't even want revenge anymore. That's too small, too shallow, too human. You've transcended the urge to prove anything. Now your existence is the revenge. Your evolution is the confession they never wanted to give. They'll whisper to each other, "You changed." No, you merged. And that's something they'll never decode. Because it takes both faith and fury to become this calm. So when you smile, that cold, knowing, almost divine grin, the one that's half mercy, half threat, they call it evil. But you and I know better. It's not evil, it's earned. That smile is the scar of survival turned art. That smile is the memory of pain turned prophecy. That smile is the saint whispering through the monster's teeth. I warned you what love could become when it stops apologizing. So keep it. Keep that smile. Because every time you show it, someone somewhere remembers what they did and wishes you never healed. They mocked the monster in you. And now they pray the saint never wakes up. Because if he does, he won't forgive. He'll understand, and that's far, far worse. You can feel it, can't you? The world shifts when you enter. The air tightens. The laughter fades. The walls seem to whisper old rumors like they're ashamed of them now. You didn't just change the atmosphere. You became it. You're the pressure that exposes what's hollow. You're the temperature that melts every mask. They can't name it, but they feel it. The ones who once mocked you suddenly can't make eye contact for more than a heartbeat. The same mouths that called you dramatic now tremble when they speak your name. Because something about you feels awake. Something ancient. Something calibrated. Something they accidentally summoned but can't send back. You don't even need to speak. Your stillness speaks louder than their panic. You are the proof that calm is the final form of chaos. Remember when they said, "You're overreacting"? They didn't realize that what they called overreacting was your nervous system detecting patterns their souls were too shallow to perceive. They mocked your sensitivity because it mirrored their numbness. They called your intuition paranoia because it pierced their illusions. You were never crazy. You were just conscious too early. And now, look at you. The monster they created doesn't throw tantrums. It builds empires in silence. You don't scream anymore. You strategize. You don't plead for peace. You manufacture it. You don't wait for closure. You become it. Your very existence is the echo of their consequences. And that's the thing about monsters. They're not born. They're engineered, crafted by repetition, betrayal, and misplaced trust. Every lie was a layer. Every humiliation, a hammer. Every goodbye, a soldering flame. Until one day, the saint cracked. And inside that fracture, divinity met darkness. You didn't lose yourself. You met yourself. The version that doesn't need to be liked. The one that doesn't fear being misunderstood. The one that understands love as a weapon and silence as a sermon. Now you operate like weather. Unstoppable, impartial, beautifully destructive when provoked. They used to joke about your intensity. Now they copy your discipline. They used to roll their eyes when you spoke truth. Now they quote your silence. They used to say you were too dark. Now they use your shadows to find themselves. You see, that's what they never understood. Light doesn't disappear when it gets dark. It becomes invisible to those who can't handle the voltage. You didn't dim. You evolved beyond visible spectrum. And now those who mocked you squint at your glow and call it menace. Because when someone's light stops serving others, it's suddenly labeled dangerous. They don't pray for your peace. They pray for your restraint. Because deep down, they know if you ever stop holding back, they'll vanish from history's memory like mist under sunlight. That's why they whisper your name like a warning now. Because they've seen what happens when you stop negotiating with pain. They've seen what happens when you weaponize understanding. You don't need revenge. Your growth is vengeance enough. Every success you build is a confession extracted without words. Every quiet step forward is an earthquake under their conscience. And that's the irony. The monster never wanted to destroy anyone. It just wanted to stop being destroyed. The saint wanted forgiveness. The monster wanted freedom. You gave them both their wish and became God's favorite contradiction. Now you're feared by the faithless and studied by the shameless. You exist between morality and myth, where only the brave can follow. You're no longer asking life for meaning. You embody it. They thought they could define you by your damage, but you turned every wound into architecture. Every breakdown became a staircase. Every rejection became a door that only opened for you. You didn't climb out of the fire. You built a throne from its ashes. And now, when you smile, that slow, unholy, perfectly calm smile, the one that unnerves even the loudest rooms. They remember the monster they mocked, but they forget. It's not the monster staring back. It's the saint, awake this time. And he's done praying for mercy, because mercy without memory becomes madness. And you remember everything. You remember how they laughed. You remember how they lied. You remember how they used your light as currency. You remember, and you smile. Not from spite, not from hate, but from understanding that justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it wears your grin. So let them call it evil. Let them whisper. Let them tremble at your quiet. Because what they call evil is just innocence that learned how to fight back. And what they call monster is just a saint who finally ran out of cheeks to turn. Now every time you walk away from chaos, the walls echo with guilt. Every time you laugh, someone feels exposed. Every time you rest, someone loses sleep. You don't chase karma anymore. You are karma, in motion, in human form. Dressed in patience, you're not healing anymore. You're evolving mid-battle. You're not forgiving. You're forgetting strategically. You're not searching for peace. You're becoming the storm's silence. And the world, it's terrified of people like you, because they can't control what they can't predict. And you, my dear, are the most unpredictable creature alive. So keep walking, keep smiling. That evil smile they fear so much, that's not evil, that's freedom's reflection. They mocked the monster in you, and now they pray the saint never wakes up. But you know better. He already has, and this time he brought hell with him. And now, as you stand here, still silent, terrifyingly composed, the truth hums beneath your skin like electricity. You've stopped trying to prove who you are. You've stopped trying to make the blind see, or the ungrateful feel. You don't need them to understand anymore. Understanding is currency for those still begging for closure. You're beyond that. Because somewhere between the heartbreaks and the betrayals, between the nights you bit your tongue until it bled just to keep peace, something snapped in the most beautiful way. The fracture didn't break you, it opened you. It showed you that light and dark were never enemies. They were twin weapons waiting for your hand to steady. You are the saint and the storm, the prayer and the punishment. You're not balanced, you're aligned. You learned the art of disappearing in plain sight. You learned that sometimes the loudest roar is the one that happens entirely inside your mind. You learned that not reacting is the most violent kind of revenge, because it forces them to face the mirror without your distraction. Now your silence feels holy. Your restraint feels like prophecy. You move like someone who knows the ending already, and maybe you do, because you've seen this pattern before. The mocking, the betrayal, the begging, the silence. After the explosion, they mocked the monster in you, and now they pray the saint never wakes up. But here's the truth they'll never recover from. The saint did wake up. He just stopped preaching. Now he watches, he calculates, he smiles. That same smile they used to laugh at. The one they called evil, unhinged, unsettling. That's the one that tells them they lost. Because that evil smile isn't cruelty, it's comprehension. It's the face of someone who's seen the machinery behind people's masks and chose not to destroy it, just to outlive it. They thought they were dealing with emotion. They were dealing with evolution. And now, everywhere you go, your energy arrives first. It walks into rooms before you do, whispers to their subconscious, he's awake now. And that's why they flinch. That's why they suddenly apologize without knowing why. That's why your name doesn't get mentioned without nervous laughter following it. You are not haunting them. You are their unfinished business. You didn't come back for revenge. You came back for balance. You came back to collect what the saint gave away too freely. You came back to reclaim your peace. Not the fragile, spiritual kind, but the iron kind. The kind that doesn't negotiate. The kind that doesn't apologize for existing. So now, when you laugh, that cold, deliberate, perfect laugh, the universe itself listens because it knows. You're not laughing out of madness anymore. You're laughing out of mastery, and maybe, just maybe, you were never the monster they feared. You were the mirror that showed them what they are without disguise. And that's what they couldn't forgive. So let them pray, let them whisper, let them pretend you're gone. Because you're not gone. You're everywhere. In their guilt, in their dreams, in the echo of every room that still feels like you were just there. The saint sleeps inside you like a god who finally learned self-respect. The monster guards him like a lion that's tasted blood. Together they make you untouchable. And when they see your evil smile one last time, they'll understand what they were really mocking all along. Not a monster, not a sinner, but the prototype of someone who survived everything they swore would destroy them. So you just keep smiling, quietly, knowingly, infinitely, because the saint doesn't need to wake up anymore. He's already dreaming through the monster, and that dream is the nightmare that will never end for them.